rolling tumors to roaring lampooners, the Tigers on a Roll show starts in 3, 2, 1.
War Eagle, everybody, and welcome back to the Tigers on a Roll podcast. The air is getting crisp, the leaves are turning colors, and Auburn basketball is back in action tonight. This isn't an Auburn team of old, that's for sure. I mean, this isn't even the Auburn team of last year. We're standing at the dawn of a brand new era. The legendary Bruce Pearl has passed the torch, and his son, Stephen Pearl, is now the man in charge. And his first big test is coming up in a couple hours. So let's break down the big-time exhibition matchup, Penny Hardaway and the Memphis Tigers. This game in Atlanta is going to be one of our first looks at a team with many new faces. The big question on everyone's mind, what does the 2025-26 Auburn team actually look like? And we will get to that in a moment, right after a word from our sponsors. Brahma Marketing is your one-stop shop for everything from signs and apparel to high-impact vehicle wraps. As a certified 3M's graphic company, they guarantee quality and durability. Promotional products, custom embroidery, commercial fleet branding, Brahma can do it all and at a great price too. They've partnered with Graystar Real Estate, Prisma Health, HD Supply, and more. Stop blending in and start standing out. Visit brahmamarketing.com to get started on your next project. War Eagle from the Orlando Auburn Club. Are you an Auburn alum or a fan living in the Orlando area? This is more than just a club. It's your official connection to the Auburn family right here in Central Florida. The club hosts game watch parties, networking events, and participates in community engagement events like the Florida Citrus Sports Feast at the 50 and a freshman send-off for area students heading to the Plains. Find them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and online at orlandooburnclub.org. All right, we have got to address the elephant in the room, or rather, the entire Final Four rotation that's no longer in the room. I mean, think about it. Janai Broom's gone. Dylan Cardwell gone. Denver Jones, Miles Kelly, Chris Moore, all gone. And we're talking about replacing the entirety of our scoring, rebounding, and leadership from one of the most successful teams in Auburn history. A full and complete reset. And of course, there's the biggest challenge of all on the sideline. Stephen Pearl steps in as a head coach. And we all love Stephen. And he's been a huge part of building this program. And the continuity is massive in the staff. And he knows the system and he knows the culture. But going from the lead assistant to the head honcho is a whole different story. We're booging right now. And it's not because of that, but it's being bolstered by one guy early on in the season especially. It all starts with Tahad Pettiford. The sophomore guard is the guy now. He was electric in flashes last year, and the SEC coaches all know it, and they named him preseason All-SEC first team. He's explosive, he can score in bunches, and this is officially his team to run. And then you look at the transfer portal. I mean, you got Keyshawn Hall, who's 6'7", the forward. He came from UCF. I mean, he's an absolute bucket. I said it on the pod yesterday or 2 days ago. Absolute bucket. He dropped 26 points in the overtime exhibition loss to Oklahoma State, and he looks ready to be a primary scorer from day one. Oklahoma State tonight, and then Monday against Bethune-Cookman. Like, this kid is going to be, his name is going to come up on this coverage frequently until March. And then you got Kevin Overton, guard / forward from Texas Tech. He's got size, he can shoot it, and he brings Big 12 toughness that we need so severely this season. It's not even funny. And then you got Keyshawn Murphy, 6'10", forward from Mississippi State. Again, needing that size and toughness to replace Broom and Cardwell and even Murphy as that other big. This guy is Keyshawn's a skilled big body who knows this type of ball. And then you add in our freshman that stuck around, Caden Magwood and Sebastian Williams-Adams, and you've got a roster that is absolutely loaded with potential. And some of the positives for sure is that ceiling. The potential ceiling for this team is incredibly high. They're athletic. They have almost all of them can create their own shots. And really, one of the negatives is the chemistry that we might see rear its ugly head at some point early in the season. But you can't replace that much production and leadership and then expect the whole team to click overnight, or especially in these exhibition games. And we saw in the first exhibition that, the team is definitely going to have growing pains. And they're going to have to learn how to play with each other and figure out, who's going to get that last shot, how to work that ball around. And they're all going to have to play. They're going to have to come together as a real team and not just a bunch of individual scorers. And we're going to have to see how that works on transition and then in the offensive end. And then they're going to need to know the spatial awareness with each other on the defensive side of the court and work as a unit and understand each other's tendencies and things like that. And they're going to need to be able to lock in with each other and stay solid on that defensive side of the court. And it takes time. It might be frustrating early in the season, but stuff like that takes time for them to all gel together and come together as a team that could potentially make another deep run in March that we've gotten, used to here at Auburn. And then another question mark is in the paint. For years, we've been anchored by absolute giants: Walker Kessler, Janai Broome, Dylan Cardwell. I mean, who's that guy this year? Can Keyshawn Murphy and maybe a couple of the other bigger guys control the glass? Maybe protect the rim against elite competition, which we will end up seeing. I mean, replacing an All-American in Broome is not a one-man job, and that's my biggest concern heading into the season. Is what can we do in the paint, and how can we make sure that we are winning some of those rebounding battles and stopping drives and maybe even drawing offensive fouls, I guess. How can we do that to protect some of the leads that we're gonna have to scheme up. That's something to look for. That's something to look for tonight. And something else to look for tonight is Memphis itself. If you think Auburn has a new roster, hold my beer, because Penny Hardaway has brought in an entirely new team. But just like Auburn, they're loaded with talent. There's no question about that. But they were just picked to win their conference, which is awesome for them. But they're led by two monster transfers who are rounding out a roster full of transfers. Quite literally, nobody came back, or no one was invited back. Maybe even you could say it that way too. But you've got Doug McDaniel, point guard from Kansas State, who was also named preseason All-Conference, and they are going to be. They're going to be battling out him and Tahad, and it's going to be worth either the War Eagle Plus subscription or going to State Farm Arena tonight to see that battle between Doug and Tahad, and see how that hashes out over the course of the game. And then you've got Aaron Bradshaw, 7'1" tree of a forward, who was at Ohio State last year, former 5-star recruit, and he's going to be a huge test for Auburn's front court right now, and right out of the gate. This is a Memphis team which in many ways is kind of the mirror image of Auburn. A ton of new high-flying talent trying to figure it out, and under certainly a high-profile coach. And I think those individual matchups, and then obviously the team matchup tonight, is going to be really, really interesting to see how that pans out. And as we head into the game, I'm not really looking at the scoreboard, to be completely honest. Here's what I'm watching for: does Tahad Pettiford run the show? Does he look like the SEC leader that we expect him to be? And is there pace and poise in this game that he's going to have to replicate all season until March? Does Keyshawn Hall and Keyshawn Murphy battle it out against a legit 7-footer in Aaron Bradshaw? Like, can they hold their own on the boards and get that ball off the rebounds, or stop them from scoring, and keep Auburn in this game? and win some of those individual matchups down low. And then how deep does Pearl go? Who are the first guys off the bench tonight? And when we see that, we're going to learn a lot about what this team's identity is expected to be early in the season. And this game is the perfect measuring stick. It's high talent, a low pressure environment, and we get to see what this new era of Auburn basketball is made of. It's going to be a fun ride, folks. But yeah, and I'm excited. The only place you can watch this game though is on War Eagle Plus. It's not on YouTube again, so make sure you can get that trial subscription in time for game time. But anyway, we got to go get ready for the game. We might have a post game pod up tomorrow, but for right now, that's all the time we've got for Tigers on the Roll. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, whatever it takes. You stay on a roll with us as we're rolling with the Tigers. War Eagle, and see you later.